like to present to you, Mr. Mandela, a copy of my book, and for you and for the entire all staff. And I thank you for inviting me here, and I also thank you for allowing me the opportunity to whoever wants to purchase my book. And as Mr. Mandela mentioned correctly, we were collaborators on a project that probably neither of us were interested in. We would have rather had never had to deal with, but nevertheless, we were collaborators on the issue of sexual molestation in regard to children. This better? Yes, I'll just review quickly. I said thank you to Mr. Mandel. We worked together for 13 years ago. And if you want to up to the program, you can buy my book. Okay, it was very difficult for me, honestly, to approach this entire event. I mean, I'm listed here, The Age of Anxiety, Rabbinical and Spiritual Perspectives. There's really not that much spirituality involved in anxiety. Most people don't feel too spiritual when they're anxiety-ridden. I don't really know exactly what the rabbinical perspective on anxiety is either. Is it mutter? Is it usher? Is it usher? I'm not exactly sure. You know, where it is. You know, it's like all of Yisrael. You can use it. Maybe some people are makel. So I figured really I had the privilege of really writing my own agenda, which is frankly what I do every week in shul. Anyway, so it was very, I felt very much at home. So I want to do two things. I want to try to deal with anxiety, let's call it on a macroscopic rabbinic level, meaning on a general rabbinic level, which hopefully is applicable to rabbis in general, and then perhaps we'll have a second view, or a second part, hopefully, we'll deal with it more on a microscopic level of specifically with regard to the specific rabbi who's talking. Now, if one looks and takes a quick search on Google, and you get to Wikipedia, so you find that anxiety is an emotion characterized by an unpleasant state of inner turmoil, often accompanied by nervous behavior such as pacing back and forth, somatic complaints, rumination. It is subjectively unpleasant feelings of dread over anticipated events such as feelings of imminent death. Anxiety is not the same as fear, which is a response to a real or perceived immediate threat, whereas anxiety is the expectation of a future threat. Perhaps most importantly is that anxiety is a feeling of uneasiness and worry, usually generalized and unfocused, as an overreaction to a situation that is only subjectively seen as menacing. So I was wondering, you know, it's such a huge issue, as so many people here tonight, and many people can relate to anxiety, so the Gemara must have had something to say about it. So there's an interesting passage in the Talmud, in Masechta Eruvin, on Daf Nun Daled Amud Beis 54b, and the Talmud relates that Rav Preda, one of the rabbis of the Talmud, was teaching an anonymous student. His name is never given. And the practice in this student was that Rav Preda had to repeat the material 400 times for each lesson. One day, Yom Echad, one day at the beginning of the lesson, somebody came over to Rav Preda, and the student overheard it, and said, by the way, I may have to get you in the middle to do a mitzvah. A certain mitzvah which only you can perform, I may have to interrupt. So that was it. And Rav Preda went on with the lesson, and he finished the 400 times of reviewing with the student, and the student was totally, had no knowledge of what he taught. The student was baffled, and the student hadn't absorbed anything. So Rav Preda asked him, how in the Maishna. Why is this time different? I taught you 400 times. You always absorb the material. What was different? The anonymous student answers, I'll tell you why. He shaited the amrule lamar ika milsa the mitzvah askoy le datoy. Ho shaita amina hashta kaimar hashta kaimar. Said to him, from that second, when that man came in, and he said, I may come and interrupt you. I could no longer focus on what was happening, the dread that I felt that any moment we're going to be interrupted, totally filled me with this sense of dread, which frankly incapacitated me. And I was unable to focus anymore. Therefore, this Gemara seems to be spot on as to the Talmud's recognition of a exaggerated and non-immediate fear being very real and anxiety being very potent. So now let's get back to the Rav. So perhaps we learn from Repreda of dealing with anxiety, we'll call it this macrocosmic view of the rabbinic world that can be helpful with regard to anxiety. Looking around the crowd here in Brooklyn, Passaic, Lakewood, Muncie, we're very familiar with, who's your Rav, where do you daven, who's your Das Torah, who paskins your shilas, do you wear shilas? People are familiar with going to Rabbanim. Hopefully rightly so. And hopefully the Rav is the go-to person, is the, first line of defense or offense that a person will have to deal with when they have an issue. Maybe their child is having difficulty in school, maybe their daughter is not getting accepted into high school, maybe their son is being thrown out of Masifta. Often the Rav will be the first person they speak to. Number one, as the dictum, Aselech Rav, a person is supposed to have a Rebbe. Number two is that we look for Das Torah. Our hope is that a Rav who's imbued with Torah will have hopefully Torah insights to help us deal with our issues. And number three, which is perhaps most prominently, is that the Rav is free. It doesn't cost any money to go to the Rav. Why pay $300 to go to a therapist or get your kid tested in school? But seriously, that may be true too. But the reality is the Rav is usually the first person that often people come to. Now, I think we could assume, and I hope we would assume, that a person should choose a Rav who's empathic, who's compassionate, who is very well versed, hopefully in Torah, that he's been imbued, sensitized through Torah to be able to relate to a person. A person should forge a relationship with that Rav, that the Rav understands this person, the Rav understands both the husband and wife, the children, and often, even dealing with anxiety, looking back on the Gemara in Eruvin, the Rav can even be the alleviator and frankly be a person to deal with cases of, let's say we would call them minor anxiety. Meaning, all of us get anxious about certain situations. All of us have situations where we're nervous, we're not sure. Doesn't mean every person has to run to Ohel or whatever, private therapy, or reach for Xanax, Klonopin, it doesn't mean any of that. Often a person going to a Rebbe, and if that Rebbe is a sympathetic, empathic Rebbe, Rebbe has experienced life experiences dealing with people, understands human problems, is imbued with a sensitivity which one gets through the study of Torah. Often that Rav can frankly be the solution to what we would call, let's say, minor anxiety issues. In fact, just this morning, Bezras Hashem, December 12th, my youngest daughter, Beth Hashem, is getting married. It's Hashem by everybody here who needs a shidduch. And so, and there was an issue dealing with the chasana that I wanted to clarify. I'm almost 60 years old. I went to my Rebbe, my Rav. I was at 80 years old this morning, and I discussed with him the issue. And as my wife can attest to, I was probably going through minor anxiety. But after discussing with him, and he knows me well, he knows me for over 20 years, almost 30 years, and knows my family, knows the situation, is certainly an empathic person, is certainly well-versed and sensitized to Torah learning. So that was really enough. The Rav served, frankly, the role of the therapist in the successful alleviation of anxiety. However, I don't want to be seen as preaching that, just you'd waste the money, go to all your therapists, it's all a bunch of whatever, just go to Rabbanim, get Das Torah. I'm not advocating for that at all. Because secondly, there's another dictum of Chazal. Chazal teaches V'loma D'shoincha Lomar Eini Yodea. Chazal teaches in Masechet Eretz Zuta that a person should habituate their tongue to be able to say those difficult words, I don't know. And a Rav has to know that. A Rav has to know where is his role and where is not his role. If a person comes and tells a Rav that they're experiencing suicidal ideation or have suicidal tendencies, that's certainly not the purview of the Rav. He has to be the person, and then his role switches to be a transitional figure. A transitional figure that could sometimes encourage and be the person to push the person when he goes through this transitional stage of sometimes getting over the stigma of going to a therapist. And the Rav can serve in this liminal role, this transitional role of encouraging the person and relieving from them and removing from them the stigma of going to a therapist. But it's important then the Rav, precisely because he's empathic, compassionate, precisely because he's a beauty Torah, that he should also know his limitations. It doesn't mean he just has to shrug his shoulders and say there's nothing I can do. Rather, he can serve as the person to facilitate, especially people who are hesitant, to facilitate them going and getting the therapeutic help from the mental health professionals that they very much need. So I would say, therefore, to sum up, it's important that we find Rabbanim, each one of us, by the way, who is somebody who relates to our family as a whole. But if I may add just quickly, it doesn't work well, to be very open with you, which I often have to deal with. It doesn't work well at all when the husband davens by Shul A, and he doesn't even know the Rav, and that's where he davens. But the wife has heard that Rav at Shul B is very sympathetic and has a very listening ear. It doesn't work very well that Rav at Shul B, even if she calls him, is going to be able to intercede. It's very important, I believe, and this is just unsolicited advice, but it's very important for a family to have a family Rav that both the husband and the wife feel confident, trusting, feel a sense of loyalty to, and therefore the Rav, when needed, can be there for both of them. Either as the role of alleviating, frankly, these minor tensions or these minor bouts of anxiety, and there's almost a clearinghouse or an encouragement to push the person when needed to proper therapy. Just in the second part, I just want to mention, though, the statistics tell us that almost 30% of the United States population